Hello, 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 and welcome to this caregiver preview of pornography literacy. I am Christy Abel, and it is my pleasure to present this information to you on behalf of Rethink Sex Education. All right, let's get going. So before we begin this session, I would first like to recognize and appreciate that I am an invited guest in the traditional territory of the Tsawwassen and Musqueam First Nations. I have the privilege to work, learn, play, and live in this beautiful place, and I am committed to being a steward of this land. I express gratitude to the Coast Salish community and all Homohoyan-speaking people, and offer my respect to all of the elders who have gone before us and First Nations people who are with us today. And I encourage you to do the same wherever in the world you may be. Haishka, thank you. So who am I? And how do I have the authority to talk about sexual health education across the lifespan, but especially with your kids? So first of all, I am very well educated in this department. I'm a certified sexual health educator through the graduate program of rehabilitation medicine at the University of Alberta. It's an incredible program. I would suggest it for anybody who wants to become a sexual health educator. I also have a master's degree in counseling psychology from UVic, a Bachelor of Education from UBC, and it all started back in 1994 with a Bachelor of English Lit from UBC. Now, I have a ton of experience in this area. First of all, I was a high school teacher from 2001 to 2009, so girl knows how to put a lesson together. And then I moved on to counseling, which I'm still actually doing full time. I very, very much enjoy working with young people and helping them figure out where they are, where they want to be, where they want to go. And also I really, really cherish being a trusted adult in the building for them. And my hope with creating all of these lessons is that I become a trusted adult in your home for sexual health education. For a couple of years, I was the district lead for sexual health education in my school district, for which I am incredibly grateful because that's why I got certified in the first place. And now I am very, very happy to be taking this to such a larger platform to really hopefully help. The mission of my company is to help create consent culture around the globe. And of course, I am the founder and director of and CEO of Rethink Sex Ed, which was originally launched in 2021. And of course, here we are in the present with that as well. So I'm also the mom of 2 kids with a wonderful partner, Ben. I'm an animal lover. We've got fish, we've got cats, we've got a horse, we talking about a dog. I'm a baseball and volleyball coach, therapist, YouTuber, kayaker, hiker. I like to get a lot of stuff done in the day, but in particular, I love coaching and I love being coached, actually. So who is this following presentation for? Well, it's for everybody age 12 plus. However, given that many children younger than 12 are exposed to by accident or sometimes on purpose by an older youth. So if they're under 12, but they have been exposed to or are regularly viewing SEIM, so the type of porn that we're going to talk about today is sexually explicit internet movies. Porn itself has been around for thousands of years, but it's never been quite so prevalent in our culture as it is today. So please use your discretion as whether this lesson is appropriate for the level of maturity. I guarantee if your kid is 12 or older, it's okay, right? But it is still your decision to make. The whole point of doing a caregiver preview is for you to understand why at this age. I will always tell you why, always, 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 and I will always back it up with research. So yeah, so there we go. Okay, so it's also for, now if you're an adult, you can skip this part, right? Because of course, porn or SEIM is adult entertainment, but it can be addictive. And I'm going to go over that, the science of pornography addiction later on. So it could be for anybody who just wants to understand how pornography affects the brain, the body, and sexual tastes. It's good for anybody seeking to curb their use of SEIM, because I will give you some very some important stats as to why we might want to do that. And of course, it's for parents, guardians, caregivers who are looking for reliable resources to talk about porn with their kids, and or for me to be this presentation to be like the springboard for discussion. It's like a foundation for which you can, now it might answer all their questions, but it also might not. So you, as the trusted adult in the scenario, right, can take this information and then have those conversations with your kids, because they are very, very important that we do. Okay, so now why? Why do human beings actually need porn literacy? But given that the main point of this is that porn is not sex ed, right? We want to take a look at here. So these are all from a study that I've quoted, or that I've cited next, and there will be the full, I'll leave a link in the description, in the YouTube description, as to where you can go check it out yourself, right? So this was a large-scale study done, I believe in the United States, where 73% of teen respondents aged 13 to 7 have watched pornography online. Okay, so this is quite a bit, with more than half reporting seeing it by the time they reach the age of 13. Now, again, because it is shaping their views on sex and sexual relationships, right? They are thinking that it's helpful, okay, that it's real, that it's not fiction, that it is there. So the majority, a lot of what I'm going to talk about in this presentation is the difference of fact versus fiction when it comes to pornography. And I'll give a couple of metaphors for that will help explain it. Now, 15% say they first saw it at age 10 or younger. And I have had friends and other people reach out to me saying, oh my gosh, my kid saw this, what do I do? So again, if they're under 12, take a look and decide. But what you could also do is, I will always link the videos that I use underneath and put them in the description, and so you can customize it if they're a bit maybe a bit too young to see what I'm presenting here. However, the average age reported for first viewing SEIM is 12. That's average. Okay, now often it is unintentional, right? There's all sorts of reasons. Sometimes there's Twitter links, and sometimes there's like they're searching for something innocuous, like I don't know, banana pudding or something like that. That's in one of the videos, banana pudding, and all of a sudden, boom, and they're like, wow, I did not know that that was a thing. But 63% have seen it accidentally, have seen it in the last week, right? So it is huge presence online. To be actually, it's only about 4%, well, only 4% of videos, 4% of websites are dedicated to SEIM on the internet, but that translates to over 600 million page and over 6 million sites. So it's a lot. There's still a lot of opportunity for our kids to stumble across it accidentally. All right. Now, the majority of teens who reported in this survey said that they felt okay about the amount of pornography that they watched. 67% said that was okay, but 50% reported feeling guilty or ashamed. So there's a bit of a conflict there, right? After watching pornography, and that guilt or shame could come from a variety of different places, right? Now, there are significant differences in gender in terms of intentional consumption. Now, about 75%, this is an Australian study that I talk about in the sexual health literacy overview. 75% will accidentally stumble upon it, but there's going to be some that intentionally do. So by the age of 17, 52% of cis boy, that's cisgender, born with a penis and testicles, responded, said that they consumed it intentionally, compared to 36% of cis people born with a vagina and vulva. Okay, so now interestingly to me, pornography may play a larger role for our LGBTQ2S plus teens than for other teens. And I have a theory about this, in that not everywhere, but typically in the past, sex ed has left anybody who's not hetero out. Okay, so it's left anybody who is not a hetero. It's been heterosexist and it's been cisnormative. Now, this leaves a huge amount of people out. So 2/3 of LGBTQ2S plus teen respondents consume pornography intentionally, probably to learn about the gaps that are missing in their whatever they're receiving, whether it's in the home or it's at school or through a religious organization or wherever, like wherever it's coming from. Okay, so that is interesting to me, and my material is as inclusive as possible. It's something that is a major mission of my company, is to make sex ed for everybody, regardless of age, gender, sexual orientation, race. You know, there's a whole gamut of list of anyways, and I want to make sure that I include everybody. Now, here are 5 ways to reduce the possibility that your kid might stumble across SEIM accidentally. Number 1, and most importantly, is you want to turn on your browser filters. So setting up a filter like Google Safe Search will block most, not all, but most explicit images, videos, and websites. So this would be your first line of defense. Use parental controls, okay? So you can get them on your phone or other devices. They'll let you block specific apps and websites. And you can also make a shared family accounts that are password protected. You can ask your internet service provider. So depending on your service, where you are in the world, what's available, I don't know where you are, right? So you can apply to certain TV channels as well as the internet. And sometimes these will cost a little bit of money. Also, you can install software, okay? So these programs give parents and caregivers a lot of control. Most of them are paid subscriptions, but some will have some free trials. I'm not affiliated with any of them at this point, so you can go do your research and see which is going to be the best fit for you and your family. Or you can go the hardware route. This can let you monitor every device on the Wi-Fi network in your home. It's going to probably cost you a little bit, but the downside here is that if your kid travels with their phone, which I'm going to guess they do, okay, then they connect to other networks like at a friend's house or in public. Oh, here's a little tip that I have from my many years of experience as a counselor, is that your kids should not have technology in their phone, in their room after 10 p.m. Okay, so my kids, their phone, well, my older one, my younger one doesn't have one yet, but their tech, whether it's their iPad or whatever, computer, laptop, it doesn't matter, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., it is not in their room. But it's their alarm clock, you say. Well, guess what? Alarm clocks have been around a lot longer than the cell phone. Okay, so get them an alarm clock. This is really, really important. I'll get into it in other discussions, but basically it's when they would be accessing this for the most part. Okay, that's when they would be accessing it alone in their room, right? So this is another way to kind of, and you can change it. You can make it 8 p.m. if you want, right? But like our rules in our house are 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Also, a lot of the stuff that ends up scandalous in schools, like let's say like naked pictures, that kind of stuff, all happens between the hours of 10 and 7 a.m. So anyways, so there's my professional tip is take away their phone at night. Okay, I'm actually going to do a whole section on kids' phones and their rights, because they certainly think that those phones are theirs, but guess what? They're not. They're yours. Okay, so there we go. And I got this bit from commonsensemedia.org, which is an excellent, very reliable website for all sorts of information, particularly around mental health too. Remember, I am a mental health clinician as well. And so that's a good resource. Okay, so if you're looking for stuff, that's good. Okay. And lastly, before we move on to the main event, right, I believe that sexual health education should come from the home. Okay? You should be the primary source. Do I believe it should be in schools? 100% comprehensive sexual health education in schools, 100%. Do I believe that the morals and values should come from your religious affiliation? Yes. Okay, so I, therefore, do not consent for my videos to be shown in schools nor organizations without my explicit written consent. Okay, so if your kids saw this at school, I did not have anything to do with that. Okay, it is not and they also shouldn't stumble across my material if you have your safe search on. Okay, so whenever you upload a video to YouTube, it asks it says, yes, it's made for kids. No, it's not made for kids. I'm going to click not made for kids every single time. This is the word pornography in it, right? Your safe search will cut that out. The main reason I'm doing this is because I want you, the parent, guardian, caregiver, to be the gatekeeper of this information about not only if they receive it, but also when, okay? So they shouldn't accidentally come across it, okay? I believe that you are yes. So now, if you're like, wow, this was really good, it was really helpful, please like, subscribe, and share the information. Share my links with other parents, guardians, and caregivers who you believe could benefit from the information. This is how the channel grows. It's how together we can help create this culture of consent. And I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time to explore what I have to offer.